The Wally Show podcast is our daily radio show heard live through the WayFM app each morning and hosted by Wally, Gavin, and me, Betty Rock. For more fun, be sure to connect with us at wayfm.com/Wally.
The Wally Show podcast is brought to you by Colorado Christian University Online, where you can earn a degree online just like Betty Rock. You can learn more at ccu.edu/Wally. It might take her a hot second to get to the point.
The journey is usually the part that you remember anyways.
But it'll be worth it. It's News-ish with Betty Rock on The Wally Show.
Project Rebirth. Doesn't that sound good? It kind of sounds like salvation.
It does.
Yeah, it sounds like a Skillet album.
Oh, okay. Project Rebirth. I like it. Well, it has nothing to do with God. It has to do with airplanes. So they have some scientists that are working on a project, Project Rebirth. And what it would be is airbags on the outside of planes. Now, we already have... Well, I don't think we have airbags on the inside of planes.
No, we do not.
We have. It's been a while. We have our vest, our inflatable devices, and we have throw-up bags.
Yeah.
But we don't
You
have
have to blow those up. Everyone blow up your throw-up bags real quick. We're gonna have an airbag for you.
So here's what they said. AI would be able to detect engine failure. And within seconds before the plane would hit the ground, these airbags would deploy.
Okay.
And pretty much it'd be like Michelin Man, hit the ground and bounce back up. Okay. Now, I don't know if this. Here's the thing: they can't even say that everyone would survive.
Right.
If this did happen, because who's to say everyone is being buckled in?
Well, it would increase the odds, though. I mean, it's an odds game.
What about the pedestrians on the ground? Like, they're going to get hit by the airbag?
By something softer than
a plane. And it's almost like they're in a giant bounce house. That'd be pretty great.
I don't know, but here's where it's going to get you on a soapbox, okay? Because you already don't like the added-on fees that Delta, Southwest, all of them do.
Yeah, they've joined the party.
Okay, so here are a couple of concerns when it comes to Project Rebirth. They do say that these airbags would be incredibly heavy.
Yes.
It would cause a lot of drag.
Yeah.
So they would have to figure that out, okay? It's going to be expensive.
Yeah, of course.
Now, how do they combat that expensive-ness?
Oh, they charge us to breathe air in the plane. Like, okay, you got your bag fee. Of course, you're going to pay that now. They're going to weigh each of us and they'll charge us by the pound.
Or they're going to say, do you want to be in this death trap or do you want to be in the airbag?
Oh, I'm taking the death trap every time. Like, there's
Held
no
together
way.
by duct tape, I'm in.
I almost don't care if they were like, okay, look, you could fly this super safe bouncy plane, but we are going to charge you another $50. I'm like, no, enough.
Oh, my God.
Give me the death trap. I want that plane, please. I'll take my chances. Do you follow the trends on TikTok? Hey, it's the Wally Show. I know I do. I spend a little bit too much time on the TikTok.
Too much time is putting it lightly.
Yeah, I find myself like I was on vacation last week and like I'd be in line for a ride like at Disney. That's on TikTok. It's great. It kills time.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you're standing there with your family. You could talk to them.
Yeah, but my wife had our friends there too, so they were able to talk. So it wasn't like I was ignoring my wife. I was ignoring all of them.
Wow.
Because they're all talking about Disney.
Ignoring your family and your friends.
Yes, exactly.
Those lines can be an hour and a half long.
Yeah,
you can
exactly.
talk for half an hour, maybe.
Quality time you'll never get back.
I know.
Can you even remember some of the TikToks you saw?
Oh, there was this one with a guy getting chased by a duck. It was so funny. And then the cat. Yes, I remember all of them.
Sure.
So anyway, there is a new trend on TikTok called the Great Lock-In, which basically it's similar to a New Year's resolution, but you're looking at the way your year is panned out now, and you're hyper-focusing on your goals to the end of the year because we're running out of time. And so it did make me start thinking, based on what you made as a New Year's resolution in January, like knowing what you know now, would you change that to something else and go hard at it for the end of this year? I'm curious about that.
And I think this is a good thing to bring up because we typically forget what our goals were at the beginning of the year. By now, like if we had said less TikTok, you would have been
failed.
F
Yeah,
plus.
I would change mine though, because like let's say in January I said, I need to spend a little less time on TikTok. Knowing what I know now, I would be like, I need to spend more time on TikTok, and then I would be like, I am crushing my goal. I am owning this. Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show. And so there's this thing on TikTok called the Great Lock-In. And what it is, I don't know why they got that name for, but basically you are hyper-focused, maybe locked in on reaching your New Year's resolution goal by the end of the year, But I wanted to talk about the idea of if you looked at your New Year's resolution and knowing what you know now, how would you change it? Or maybe even do a new one. You're like, well, I didn't lose the weight, so now I got to change out my New Year's resolution. Betty Rock, if you were going to do this, what would yours be?
Well, at the beginning of the year, mine was to grow closer to God.
Oh, wow.
And I would say I'm not where I want to be. Okay. Also,
we would say the same.
Stop.
I wouldn't say that out loud.
Also, it was too broad of a goal.
Okay, good.
Okay.
I like that.
So I needed to change mine. I should have changed it to find a devotional schedule that works for me.
Okay.
And I actually did.
Yeah.
And I wrote a blog about it. You can check it out when you text the word daily to 91979. But it helps me see like where it takes the time, like 30, 45 minutes, and it divides it out and tells you what you need to do.
Yeah.
And then you can kind of move it around about what verses you want to read and things like that.
Well, the idea of making it more narrow instead of a broad goal, I think that's really smart. That will definitely help you out. Gavin, what would your new lock-in type goal for the end of the year be?
Definitely had the stereotypical just wanted to get in shape, wanted to lose weight. And I did lose weight for a while there. And then
you did.
Yeah, you're beautiful.
Thank you. Appreciate you guys. Plateaued for a while there. Still beautiful, apparently. I should have, because I wanted to get in shape so that daily things weren't hard.
Like stairs.
And this is where
putting on your shoes.
No, that is the.
Stop. Let him finish.
No, it's funny though. No, you locked in literally. Stop
Let
it.
him finish.
I should have.
Sorry.
My goal should have been to find nicer friends. No, it literally was. I was gonna say by the end of the year, I want to go up our stairs here in the office.
Yeah.
And be able to then go up the stairs and have my conversation right away.
Yes,
As opposed
I get
to
it.
getting up there, taking like 2 minutes to not get winded.
I know, before you can have a conversation. Trust me, I've been there. I 100% understand that.
That and buckle my pants.
Yes, there you go. Mine is to, like, looking at what I know now and how this year has gone, mine would be to be more agreeable here at the end of the year.
Yes. Oh, wow. Yeah. That definitely is needed.
Less confrontational.
Yes, you are so confrontational about everything.
I know. And so that would be my goal, is to do that as we come into the end of the year and I move into a new contract. Uplifting Way FM, this is the Wally Show. I'm curious if anyone else has ever done this where you lied to somebody and forgot to tell them you were lying to them.
Oh, what?
Yeah, I did this to my friend. My friend and her husband were here from California, and they were looking to buy an investment property. And so they had it set up with a realtor to go to all these houses to look at. And they were staying with us for the first night, and she was like, "Where's your garbage?" And she looked under the sink, because that's where I guess hers is. Mm-hmm. And I said, "Oh, it's over here in the pantry." And she's like, "Oh, why is it in there?" And it's like, "Well, it's state law." Like, I didn't miss a beat. And she's like,
really?
"What?"
You just
I
made
know,
that up?
just right there. I don't know.
He's a good liar.
Yeah,
that's why.
I am. That hat's great on you, Rock. I am like, it's scary how quickly I can snap into messing with people. And I'm like, "Oh, it's state law." And she goes, "What?" I said, "It has to be in the pantry because of state law, because there's a little fire suppressor in there. Like, it's hooked to like a fire extinguisher." Why would they have that? I said, people's trailers were burning down because they weren't taking care of their trash properly. And so then it happened in a few houses, and they went, "Okay, let's make this a law." So yeah, it's a law now. Make sure when you're looking at these places today, if they're older, that that it's been retrofitted, and so that you're in compliance. Wow. Ask your realtor about it.
You are digging. You're just digging this like little hole.
And then we got because I intended intending to tell her, oh, yeah, I was just kidding. Eventually. And because I really wanted her to ask her realtor about it. And then we got sidetracked. I totally forgot. Totally forgot to tell her that I was lying. I need to call her and find out if she asked the realtor because that would be gold.
Oh, bless her heart.
Yeah, exactly.
She'll never trust you again. This is like the boy that cries wolf.
Well, the reality is she never trusted me in the first place.
Oh, well, okay.
We didn't have far to fall. So this is what I want to talk about with you, though. 855-33-WAY-FM. Was there something that you maybe were told when you were younger that you just believed, and then you get to be like an adult or years later and you're like, wait, that's not true? Because like you just knew it was true, but it wasn't.
I mean, all the things I found out once I grew up that my dad had told me were true, and I found out they weren't.
Oh, yeah.
Like, what?
Yeah, your dad and I are kind of a lot alike, which is great. Maybe that's why you like working with me.
No, I like is a strong word.
It's maybe why you have to work with me. 855-33-WAY-FM is the number. We got time to take a couple calls on this. 855-33-WAY-FM. What was that thing that you just thought you knew, but then one day you found out you have believed a lie your entire life? 855-33-WAY-FM. Has that ever happened to you? Something you thought you knew to be true, and then only years later to find out you were wrong?
Yeah, in a different sense. When I was 8 years old, I walked around the corner and I saw my mom smoking. And she told me she smokes because it was good for her sinuses. And I believed her until I was older and I realized, no way.
Why did she tell you that?
I have no idea. I just guess she didn't want to admit that smoking was wrong. And at 8 years old, she's always sniffling, so I knew she had bad sinuses. So I was like, okay, good.
You're at school, like the science fair, and there's like all the kids with the posters about how smoking's bad for you, and you're the one going, lies! No, my mom said it's good for your sinuses.
That's me.
All right, Donnie, you're up. What was that thing that you believed with your whole heart only to find out you were wrong?
My mom told me when I was just a kid that if I picked at my belly button, that it would come untied and I would bleed to death.
Donnie, you must have been a really bad belly button picker.
Yeah, he was getting in there. He was digging.
I was like 30 years old, and I was talking to my wife, and I was telling her, hey, don't pick at your belly button. It'll come untied and you'll die. She was like, who told you that? I said, my mom.
The things that our parents tell us, and sometimes they just want you to stop doing something or whatever, and they don't think twice about it. But as a kid, you carry that through your whole life.
I remember my dad telling me that I could never eat ice cream after I had fish sticks because it was poisonous.
Oh, the combination of the two?
And I was in my 20s until I realized that was a lie.
Why does that not surprise me?
Hey, Wally, do you have a minute?
Sorry, busy.
I have cake.
Oh, what do you need?
Yeah, see, that's a perfect example of even though we are busy, we make time for what's important.
Yeah, because going back to school as an adult, you're busy with work, you've got family, but if you want to make your education a priority, trust me, you can do it. Betty did.
Like when I first started, I was super intimidated because it had been a while since I've been in school. But I mean, from the very first conversation, I felt like they were setting me up for success.
Yeah, and going back to school with CCU's flexible online courses makes it so convenient.
Yeah, and what's so cool is every class has a biblical worldview perspective. And so you think, well, how can they turn math into a biblical worldview? They find a way.
Yeah, and that was one of my jobs when I was teaching at CCU, was integrating not just the facts and figures of things, but how your faith plays into what you're going to do.
CCU offers Christ-centered higher education, transforming students to impact the world with grace and truth.
Cultivate your mind without compromising your heart. Get started today at online.ccu.edu. Colorado Christian University is a non-profit impact partner.
Getting you caught up. It's news-ish on The Wally Show.
So over the weekend, I watched some of the Charlie Kirk memorial. I didn't watch the whole thing because it was like super long, but it was packed. And there were times where honestly it felt more like a convention rather than a memorial service. But he lived in that political world, and so I get that. But it was great to see faith on display throughout it. You know, you got Chris Tomlin and Brandon Lake performing, and there were people that were celebrating faith and God, you know, in the midst of all of this. And I know there are people that hate him. I get that. But it was good to see stadiums filled with hundreds of thousands of people who gathered to show their support for the gospel, for conservative values. and ultimately decency as well. And I wish I could say the same about the comments, because I was watching it live on TikTok. Big mistake. The comments when Erica Kirk, his wife, was speaking about him were just hate-filled and brutal. They're like laughing face emojis, gun emojis, people posting free Palestine. And then scammers even showed up and they're like, I'll give $8,000 to the first 10 people that respond amen. What is wrong with you people? It was just a sick cross-section of our society. And so a lot of people learn nothing from this, this whole incident. There are people that learn nothing. But Erica spoke so eloquently with great strength and passion and compassion. And the highlight of her speech was when she talked about Christ being on the cross, and then she did the unthinkable.
Father, forgive them, for they not know what they do. That man, that young man, I forgive him.
I mean, that's still so fresh for her. And to get to that point where you actually say those words out loud about forgiving somebody that just took the life of your husband because they didn't like what he said. I can't even imagine being in that place.
I can't either. And I hope that there will be people that are there for her in the aftermath of it. Because, it's easy to be on top of it right now because it's in the headlines and all that. But, there's going to be days where she's by herself and she's still got to choose to forgive.
And that's the difference right there, though. And I think that if nothing else, the takeaway, hopefully, even people that didn't like him, I would hope that somebody could look through some of their clouded ideology and go, that's different. Like, she's not talking about hating the man and wanting vengeance and violence and wanting him to be brought to justice and held accountable and put to death. She's like, I forgive him. That's the difference that faith makes. And it's the ability to love those that hate you, forgive those that persecute you. If you want to make a difference in the world following this tragedy, don't get baited into angry debates online. Kill them with kindness. I have seen ugliness and the low road that so many people have taken since Charlie's murder. And I even read super venomous posts from someone in my family. I'm like, what in the world? It had so much vitriol and anger and misinformation. And I couldn't believe this was a person that I grew up with. And I was tempted to engage, but I knew it would devolve. So I chose not to be angry, not to engage, in this. But I literally took a moment and I prayed for peace and grace inside of me, not for this person. They've got to see the light. They're wrong and they've got to see where they're wrong. No, I was like, Lord, show me compassion, show me grace, give me peace for this person, because then maybe it will change when I do see them again and I interact with them, and that will be a better situation than if I choose to buy into the anger and the hate and I just keep replicating this. So maybe that's the lesson today, is you still see the aftermath of this, because there's going to be a bunch of it today, on the news and on your socials and things like that. So maybe just choose not to engage. Take a break today, and you might find that you're happier in the long run. Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me?
Are you kidding me right now? Uplifting Way FM. This is The Wally Show. We're going to do a little Are You Kidding Me?, where we just talk to kids. And so we're going to do a thing we usually do with adults here, a weekend update kind of segment called Booyah Your Weekend. But this is only for kids, okay? So kids, you call and you tell us about your weekend, and then we'll give you a boo or a yay depending on how your weekend went. If it was a bummer, we'll boo with you. We'll be like, that was a bummer. Boo, I hate that for you. We'll commiserate. Or if it was just a weekend that was awesome, we'll be like, yay, that was amazing. Or if it was too awesome and ours stunk, we might boo you. You never know how it's going to go, because we're just jealous, small, petty people, okay? So we want to hear about your weekend now and what made it awesome or, not so great from your perspective. 855-33-WAY-FM. I remember as a kid, weekends were gold to me. like the possibilities were endless.
Yes.
I'd start dreaming on Friday of what I was going to do, and I'd lay out my weekend, and it always involved getting up early, watching cartoons, then taking my bike to the grocery store, or the drugstore because they had candy there, and that was just the start of the day, you know?
Just the beginning of amazement.
Exactly. So here we go. 855-33-WAY-FM. We'll do a little booyah with you. Only rule is you got to be a kid to call. And if you need to get your parents' permission first, please make sure you do that. 855-33-WAY-FM. So what do you got?
Oh, yeah, we had 2 birthdays.
Were either of those birthdays yours?
No.
Boo! She didn't see that coming. She's like, ooh, what just happened here? I thought we were going to yay this. Did you go get cake?
Yes.
Okay, yay! Cake makes everything better.
And there was a piñata.
Oh, did anyone get hit with a stick?
Yeah.
Was it you?
Yes.
Yay!
No,
boo! Sorry, I got confused. What do you got?
It was student takeover weekend at my church. So in the first service, I served in the library, just like putting books away and stuff. And then in the second hour, I helped with preschool worship. So me and a couple other girls got to like get up on stage, do the dances for them, and then dress up for the story.
Oh, well, that's kind of nice. That's a big weekend. Boo!
Yes.
Sorry, I know you didn't see that coming, but they made you work for free. I mean, volunteer. Sorry. No, I think that's great that you volunteered and you really enjoyed it, huh?
Yeah, I loved it.
Which volunteer thing did you like the best?
Preschool.
Betty Rock also works in the preschool area as well.
Yes, you have to keep in mind, Savannah, wash your hands. When you were back there with the preschoolers, they are walking germs. Wash your hands because you will get sick.
For sure.
Well, I'm going to boo Betty for taking all the fun out of her volunteer work.
Oh, my word.
Well,
at least I am volunteering.
Monday School is a chance for Wally to share what he learned at church and prove that he went.
So I was on vacation last week, and I purposely took myself out of the news cycle, and the crazy thing was I felt better. I was at Disney, and no one was debating ideologies in the line for Tron. We were just discussing how expensive everything was. But, you know, because everyone chose to focus on something different. They chose to focus on something that was joyful and not contentious. And as I thought about it and how things felt at Disney, I thought, man, people should feel different when they're around us as believers. And that's kind of what our whole sermon was this week. We're called to lead culture, not follow it. We should be distinct because Jesus is living in us. People should feel different around us in a good way, you know?
Yes, yes.
They can feel different around us, but not always positively. Like our neighborhood should connect differently because we are there. Our office should work differently because we're there. Our school should act differently because we're there. Our worship should sound different from a concert because Jesus is there. And he's in everything that we do. If we were different, it will shine like a light. That's what the Bible talks about. And people will be drawn to us. The Bible says, always be ready to give an answer for your faith and do it with gentleness and respect. I thought this was interesting because if you look right now online, everyone's fighting to win an argument. And it doesn't say that. It doesn't say win the argument.
Right.
You know, beat your opponent down, best them with truth and knowledge.
Right.
You know, it basically just says give an answer. And the message of Jesus doesn't need us to argue it. All it needs us to do is share it. That's the crazy thing about it, because when you share it with the lost and hurting in a lied to world, things can change. You know, we need to share it with people who are not like us. I've always loved this quote from an old pastor of mine. He said, people who were nothing like Jesus. Why was that? Because he was kind. He didn't yell at people. Now, he gave them truth, but he gave them truth in love, you know, and like that's why they responded to him. And I think it's a big reminder for all of us. I was in the book of Titus we were looking at, like how fractured the world is. And, you know, as we draw more and more lines in the sand, Paul reminds us that we were once like the people that we struggle with. They were, you know, we were lost. We didn't know how to love. We didn't know how to forgive. We didn't know what hope was until Jesus. And I think the reminder is to be mindful of that as you're judging people that don't know Jesus. that they don't have the same frame of reference as you do, and to be cognizant of that, because Jesus changed us, and he can do the same for people that we think will never change, and it's our job to share that message, not win the argument. And there you go. Hopefully, especially in the face of everything online and people are discussing today and in the next few weeks, that maybe that'll help you figure out how to navigate it a little better.
Here's our little ginger snap.
I'm that gingerbread bad boy, that little oven-baked treat.
It's the Lucky Charm himself, Gavin, with News-ish on The Wally Show.
When it comes to moving, I think I'm a seasoned veteran. My dad served in the Air Force. We had to move every few years. And while you pay good money for movers to pack things carefully, drive carefully, I do feel like it's a miracle if you get to your next destination without a little chip in your fine china.
Yeah.
For us, and I'll tell you this, they were always good. They broke a foosball table of ours. That was the biggest miss during moving.
And usually the military moves are pretty good. Like, they're really thorough too. My wife her dad was in the Air Force too one time, and they were packing them up to move. And they even packed the garbage that was in the garbage can in a box. I mean, it's like, that's thorough, yeah.
They do a good job, but one couple, they were not so lucky in their most recent move, and they're not believing in the forgiveness in their situation either. They paid a moving company extra for white glove handling of fragile items. I hadn't heard of the phrase. It makes sense, but I hadn't heard of like white glove.
Yeah, kind of like that butler wearing white gloves kind of thing.
So their move included large, fully assembled Lego displays that had been carefully built, preserved before their move.
Yeah.
And those Legos broke. In the move, there's some missing pieces. And so this couple is now suing the moving company and their insurers. I don't personally know if I would have expected anything else other than a few Legos breaking.
No, white glove.
Yeah.
If they're saying that they're going to handle it with kid gloves and they're going to wrap it up, they're going to take extra precautions. And I think this costs like over $1,000. Like, you expect it to still be intact.
Absolutely. You know, like if that was your washing machine and you heard it rattling, you'd be like, well, that's broken. You got to fix that. I don't know, like, they probably were like, it's Legos, just rebuild it, you know. But
that's the question. If we're in this situation right here, like for a lot of people, Lego building is the joy and the pride. Like my dad, like that's his kind of retirement hobby, is that he has fully invested himself in like the Legos, and those are his prized possessions. I don't know if he moved and they broke, if you would go, oh, all my hard work is ruined, or do you go, or is the positive spin, oh, reset, I get to build this thing again.
It's funny that you said your dad has fully invested himself into this. Legos are super expensive.
Yeah.
And that is your inheritance. Like when you go visit your dad, you're like, oh, there's all my money.
I look at those and I love the comic books he has underneath his bed. And I'll be honest, they're worth a good amount to the right person.
You're doing better than me.
Yeah.
My dad is handing over some old VHS tapes. And because they don't sell them on eBay, he claims they're worth something.
That's why you love Danny Ray. Oh, this is why Betty Rock needs to marry wealthy. Uplifting Way FM, this is The Wally Show. And like anything, TikTok is what you put into it, like what you watch, what your algorithm that you create gives you either garbage or good stuff. And I find a lot of faith-based stuff on TikTok that I really like. I like this one. This lady was talking about the trials that build us up.
When God wanted to make David a king, he didn't give him a crown, he gave him Goliath. When God wanted to raise Joseph to the palace, he didn't give him a shortcut, he gave him prison. When God wanted to make Esther a queen, he didn't give her comfort, he gave her crisis. Many times when we feel like God's breaking us, really he's building us. God doesn't give us what we expect in life, he gives us what we need.
Boom. That's a big one. That's a big one, because we want to take the path of least resistance. And we want to go the easiest way possible, but sometimes that's not the best way. And the thing that we walk through, not around, but we walk through it with God, is the thing that prepares us for the next thing, you know?
I wish I could be prepared while I'm sitting in a lazy boy eating a bowl of popcorn and watching my favorite show.
Doesn't work that way. Goliath got slain because David got in the game, you know, and he faced the big fear, the big challenge. Because the thing about David's story that I love is that he was like just appalled that everyone else was letting Goliath get away with this. And he walked up so confident. Like David had some confidence. But that confidence comes from his faith being rooted in God every day, you know? And that's why we're like, oh, wow, why, like, how can he do that? It's like, because he spent time with God, like way more than we do. We throw a Sunday in there, you know, maybe a Wednesday, you know, and then we wonder why we don't understand God better, you know, or why we don't see him or feel him in our lives more. And I'm saying that to me as much as anybody else. But here's what I want to talk about with you. What was that thing that you thought was going to break you, but instead ended up building your faith? Because, you know, we all go through different things. Everybody's life is a little bit different. But there are some things that you feel are overwhelming in the moment that you thought, I'm not going to survive this.
And sometimes you have a choice. I would say most of the time you do have a choice. You have a choice of this can break me.
Right.
Or I can choose to go towards God.
Yeah, we don't have a choice in what we go through a lot of times, but we do have a choice in how we react to it. And my way is to panic, yell, run around a lot. Yeah, you know, and so maybe not the best way. Maybe you found a more constructive way. So here, let's talk about it now with you. 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. And the reason I want to talk about this, though, too, is like sharing the thing you thought was going to break you. But the important part, too, is how it built you. Because there are other people that are in the break mode right now, and they don't feel they are going to survive it, you know? And so your story offers up hope in a way that can help them get to the place where you're at now, maybe on the other side of it. And so that's why we do this stuff. 855-33-WAY-FM. That's 855-33-WAY-FM. We'll take yours now. So what was that for you?
Well, I'm still going through it, but my 18-year-old has left the faith and is now exploring Islam. And at the beginning, when this first happened last year, I blamed myself and that I wasn't a good enough Christian to be a good enough example for him, to keep him following Jesus. But through going to church and other people supporting me and praying with me, I realized that God is in control and that this may be the path that God is taking my son on to build him up and eventually help be a story for other people who have left the faith and have come back.
Here's a little hopeful encouragement for you, okay? Because I get everything you've just said, and I understand that when our kids make different choices from us, we feel like it's our fault or that, you know, what could we have done differently? Here's what I think is the upside. You know, the Bible talks about train up a child in the way of the Lord and he'll return to it later. That's a promise in the Bible, okay? And so my hope for you in this is that kids have to test their own limits and find their own faith and make it theirs. I don't think God is pushing your son to Islam to do something. I think your son is making a free will choice to go and explore. But here's my hope. When you compare Islam to a living, breathing, risen God and what he does in Christianity and how he pursues us and how he loves us and how his grace covers us, and it's not about works, the difference is palpable. And so my hope for your son is, okay, I'm going to explore this, and he's going to come to that realization on his own. And in doing so, his faith is going to be stronger because it will be his faith now and not just what he was taught before. So his rabbit trail could end up being the thing that strengthens his faith more than it would have been without it.
Exactly. It's just painful as a mom to watch.
Absolutely. I get it, girl. I get it. These are the moments where all you can do sometimes is pray for your son and pray for you and how you interact with him, that will be godly, you know, and that won't push him away.
Thank you so much.
What was that thing that you thought was going to break you, but it actually built you?
4 years ago, my son passed away, and I wasn't sure if I could ever breathe again. I was angry for a year, and then I took your 21-day challenge.
Oh, I love that. That's where we ask people to listen to WAY-FM for 21 days and do a Bible study to see like how it changed them inside.
I encourage everybody to do that because it does. It changes your heart. And I've been trying to grow and grow since then. And I know that God is telling me that I need to go into my church and start some kind of grief and support group.
Well, there you go. Redeem that hurt and turn it into something positive now that you've walked through it to help other people maybe not spend a year in anger, because you know that that's destructive and it doesn't help you. But sometimes it's the process you got to go through to figure it out.
And your testimony, your personal story will carry a lot further with someone who's going through the same thing than someone who has never experienced it before. So it's a perfect example of how God can take something terrible and turn it into something good.
Exactly.
So what was yours?
My experience was after 25 years of marriage, my husband left. It was something I didn't think I would live through, but God has used it and grown me and given me a new ministry to other people who have gone through a divorce or are going through a divorce. And so God has definitely turned something ugly and turned it into something good.
Did it kind of catch you by surprise, or was it one of those things that was like a long time building?
No, totally caught me by surprise.
Oh, wow. Yeah, and then you're just left with, what do I do with this? How do I process this? Where are you in this, God? And I bet there was a lot of fear, too.
Oh, yeah, because I was a stay-at-home mom, so I didn't have a lot of, I didn't have a career to fall back on to even support myself. So
oh, wow.
God has proven himself to be a provider. He's been so faithful.
That is the crazy thing about going through something tough that is beyond you. That's at the end of yourself is where you find God. And then it's those things that you're like, there's no other explanation except for God in this. And it does. The thing that you think is going to end you ends up strengthening your faith and your reliance on God.
Growing up in poverty has never been easy for children, but with the added challenges of the pandemic, conflict, and natural disasters, families around the world are facing an unprecedented food crisis. Unfortunately, those who are already hungry are now even more desperate. But by sponsoring a child through compassion, you can help provide life-sustaining essentials such as food and clean water. And with your compassionate support, that child can not only survive, but also flourish. You can find out how and choose a child to sponsor when you click on the compassion banner at wayfm.com.
Uplifting Way FM. This is The Rock Report with Betty Rock.
This past weekend, the life of political activist Charlie Kirk was honored worldwide as his memorial service was broadcast to audiences everywhere. There were estimates of around 100,000 people in attendance.
Yeah, it won the stadium, and then there were satellite stadiums all around that were carrying it.
Crazy. And to honor Kirk's Christian beliefs, many A-list Christian artists were asked to perform. It included Phil Wickham, Chris Tomlin, Brandon Lake, Carrie Job, and Cody Carnes. Chris Tomlin, he started leading the audience. This is what I just love because, these artists are in front of an audience that may never go to church, or maybe they do and they've gotten out. But I love how these artists are able to take you to church right where you are. Chris Tomlin, he led his audience in his song Holy Forever. You've also got Carrie Job. She was starting to read 2 Chronicles 7:14, and then she started with prayer too.
If my people who are called by my name will humble themselves and pray and seek my face and turn from their wicked ways, I will hear from heaven and I will heal their land. So God, we say today, we are your people and we humble ourselves. And we repent of sin and things that have so easily pulled us away from your kingdom.
And finally, Brandon Lake. He took us all to church. He started preaching, and then he led the audience in his song, Gratitude.
With our hands to the heavens today, surrendering everything that we're feeling, that we're facing, that we're wrestling with, knowing that He is sovereign, He is higher, we can trust Him. Come on, let's worship Him here. So I throw up my head, praise you again.
Yeah, I had seen some things like that of people on college campuses and stuff too, and these moments of praise break out in the midst of the, sorrow, the heartbreak, the anger, and it's I love to see people of faith toning down some of the vitriol, and reminding people that, there are horrible things that happen in this world, but there is a God. He is in control, and we need to be in control of our reactions to evil.
Right, and maybe you need that reminder as well. So I want to play it. Brandon Lake's Gratitude.
All my words fall short. I got nothing new. How could I express?
Uplifting Way FM. This is the Wally Show. ¿Por qué? That is Spanish.
Sí.
What's it mean, Rock?
¿Por qué?
Oh, no.
Donde is where.
Yeah.
¿Por qué is what?
Why?
Why?
Even Gavin knows this. How do you know Spanish?
I don't know. I think I'm the youngest and therefore closest to back in
high
school
school
when
Spanish.
I would have taken it.
Yeah.
I took 2 years of it. I couldn't tell you nothing.
Well,
But
¿Habla español?
don't act like you know anything.
Un poquito.
Yeah. Okay, so I want to learn Spanish. It's never too late to learn something new. And
is there a reason why you chose
I
Spanish?
have some friends that speak Spanish fluently.
Oh,
and
you're Esther.
Yes,
Yeah.
and I want to be a part of the conversations. I want to understand all the things. And also,
Do you think they're talking about you?
No, but I think that could be, I could be in elevators where there could be like someone speaking in Spanish that I don't know and they could be talking about me. I've had that feeling before.
Yeah.
And I love eavesdropping. So anyway.
That's not a good reason.
Yes, it is for me. So I want to learn Spanish. I just don't know what the best route, like what's the best action?
Because when you're young and you have to take it in school and your brain functions differently and you learn things quicker, you pick up languages quicker. Being an adult and trying to go back and learn a language, I think is very difficult. I wanted to learn American Sign Language, so I was following this chick on TikTok and I was doing a little sign thing every day, and I'd forget by Wednesday what I learned on Monday, and I'm like, well, it's hopeless. So
you have to do it every day.
I know, but that's my point. I don't know. So maybe you can help Betty Rock out. Have you ever had to learn a language as an adult? What was the best way to actually learn it, short of moving to Spain?
Yeah.
Because she doesn't want to leave the country.
I can't do that. I'm planning on staying right where I'm at.
Okay.
But I need something that has worked for others. And, there's all kinds of things that they'll say, oh, you should buy this, buy this, buy this. Well, I want something that I know will work.
Yeah, because some of those courses and stuff are really expensive. So if you've ever had to learn a language, how did you do it? What worked for you? 855-33-WAY-FM. You can help Betty Rock out here. 855-33-WAY-FM. We'll take your suggestion now. So what is a good way that she could learn Spanish there, Sarah?
So I know it's like kind of for children, but it's canticos. It's CANTICOS, and it's really good because it's in rhymes and songs. And they'll do it in Spanish or in English, and then they'll go, okay, let's do it again, but this time in Spanish. It covers a whole lot. It covers emotions. It covers, numbers, colors, everything. It's really cute.
Well, I already love watching cartoons in my spare time, so why not add canticos?
Why don't you just get Telemundo and watch, Scooby-Doo, in Spanish?
No, because Telemundo, they have a whole bunch of soap operas, and everything's so dramatic. Like, it's like, oh, no, and no. This is, you don't want to start talking Spanish like that with your friends.
All right, well,
Very
you could
dramatic.
do this, Betty Rock. You could watch a cartoon, or why don't you just marry a guy from, Mexico or Spain and be a 90-day fiance? That'd be great.
Oh, my gosh.
Oh, no, watch the cartoon.
What would be a great way as an adult to learn a language?
Well, I'm not saying getting married, but I married someone who was deaf, so I'm fluent in sign language. We've recently been divorced, but I would say immersing yourself with the people who you want to learn the language of, finding friends and being in those conversations with those people on a daily basis.
How did you sign that? that we're getting divorced. Was it a whole hand or?
It's actually two hands that look like a D. You put them together and then separate them.
Really? That is fascinating. Because then you're like, what if you didn't know that one? What are you saying? I don't know. I would just have played dumb. I'd be like, I don't know. I don't know what you're saying.
People, please.
Uplifting WayFM, this is The Wally Show. And People Please is a chance for us to talk about things that we just look at and kind of shake our heads and be like, oh, really? PETA is one of those for me. I get that PETA, people that are super involved in PETA, that's the People for Ethical Treatment of Animals, I think at their souls are good people. Like the idea of caring for animals and things that can't defend themselves, I think is great.
Yeah, we're supposed to do that.
Yeah.
The Bible calls us to do that.
But it's like when extremes happen, whether it's conservative, whether it's, liberal, extremes are always the problem.
Well, we differ on what is considered extreme.
Exactly. And PETA, in my opinion, runs to the extreme a lot of times, And so they will pick some battles with people that I don't agree with. Like this one, they're going after Mario Kart. I love Mario Kart. My daughter and I play, and she destroys me every time. But it's a video game. Yeah. And it's funny because it's not about weaponizing the turtle shells, because you throw turtle shells at each other. No. Yeah, you would think that would be it, especially after that turtle had a straw in its nose. You'd think that'd be a problem. But no, PETA recently wrote a letter to Nintendo asking them to tweak their depiction of Moo Moo Cow from Moo Moo Farms. It's one of the tracks that you race. And to remove the cow's nose ring. I guess because nose rings used to be in cows. That's how they would control them.
Okay.
Kind of like a bridle on a horse. Exactly. Yeah. And so they would like that removed. They said, we heard, HERD, they're trying to be funny, that there's a new star in Mario Kart World, Cow. She is already winning hearts everywhere, including ours, but the brass ring in her nose, would you please show some empathy and remove the nose ring? Empathy for the digital cow.
Is she just something that you drive by in the video game, or is she an actual character?
It drives by it, and they're in the cow, they're in the fields.
So it's not a character you choose to play as. You don't have villains out there. I'm going to play as this cow.
And I'm going to grab it by the nose ring.
Yeah.
Yeah. The bewildered look on your face is perfectly acceptable.
Are you understanding it?
Yeah, I understand it. And this one might be a little far-fetched.
Okay.
I'll agree with you. That's a bit much.
I do think that there's probably a sense of irony, though, is the person writing this letter. The blue-haired lady probably has more piercings in her own face than the cow has.
But she chose those.
But I'm making a judgment call there. So people, please.
Well, that's the end, but it doesn't have to be. Check out our Aftercast. It's new stuff you didn't hear in the podcast. Be sure to rate us on iTunes, as well as connect with us on social media. Just search Wally Show. And if you'd like to join our Facebook group made exclusively for you potties, the link is in the description of this podcast. Thanks to Colorado Christian University Online for supporting what we do.